Sean McVay speak highly on Matthew Stafford. He said, bro, this dude is a bad mother effort. Whatever people say about him, as good it can be, he's better than advertised. It makes sense to him. The guy's ability to see the game, his ability to draw his experience, to feel that he has, is pretty special and unique. So let me ask you this, Trey. With the addition of Matthew Stafford, are the Rams the team to beat in the NFC West?
Yes, I believe the Rams are the team to beat in the NFC West, Clarence. Let's start off on the defensive side of the ball. You still got Aaron Donald, the best defensive player in the NFL. You still got Jalen Ramsey, a top cornerback in the NFL, in the secondary. And you're right, I think Aaron Donald arguably is, the greatest defensive player in NFL history. I said arguably.
Greatest?
I said arguably. It's arguably. Like, you could compare Aaron Donald, to Deion Primetime Sanders, like Lawrence Taylor. I'm not saying he is. I said he's in that conversation. Aaron Donald is dominant. But anyways, you still got Jalen Ramsey, like I said, in the secondary. On their team, they got Justin Hollins, Kenny Young. You still got Leonard Floyd at the linebacker position, Micah Kiser. I like them in their front seven, but when you look at their secondary, besides Jalen Ramsey, they got a lot of guys who aren't proven. You got Taylor Rapp, Jordan Fuller, Darius Williams, those guys aren't proven. So, I think this team has a lot of guys who can play, but I think if they were to suffer from any kind of injury bug, they would, suffer and they could possibly not win the NFC West. I think they're a team that don't have much depth. That's what I'm getting to. They don't have much depth, and I think they go through a series of games where they suffer a lot of injuries. It could cost them a chance at possibly winning the NFC West, but they're led by Raheem Morris. He's a new defensive coordinator for the LA Rams. I think defensively they got talent. I'm just not so sure about their secondary. I like their front seven though. I said, I like their front seven with Donald and you got Joseph Day up front, Alshon Robinson. I like their front seven. I just got questions about their secondary because nobody's proven besides Jalen Ramsey. Now when you switch to the offensive side of the ball, we know Matthew Stafford for his career, 282 touchdowns, 144 interceptions. Completed 63% of his passes in his career. He has over 45,000 passing yards, but he's not proven in the playoffs, Clarence. In his postseason so far, he's 0-3. Now he's playing for the Lions, and he hasn't had much help, besides Megatron, he hasn't had much to play with when he was playing with the Detroit Lions. But overall, he was a significant upgrade over Jared Goff for the LA Rams. And I know that Sean McVay is excited because he now has a new toy to put at the quarterback position. And unlike Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford doesn't have any limitations. He can throw the ball deep at an elite level and throw the ball accurately. He can throw the ball, over the middle, at an elite level. He doesn't have any limitations to where he can throw the ball to, which means that they can stretch the field. They weren't able to do that with Jared Goff because Jared Goff had limitations. So now the fact that you upgraded at quarterback, you look at their weapons that they got offensively. I expect Cam Akers to get more touches this season. I think Cam Akers has emerged as the #1 running back on this team, and I think they're going to take on that approach like they had when they had Todd Gurley, because Todd Gurley got all the touches when he was in LA. I think Cam Akers has elevated his game, to a point where Sean McVay trusts him to get the bulk of the carries. So I expect him to play at a high level this year as well. Also, their offensive line, though, they're average. I'm not really impressed with their offensive line. I'm not. Like
one of the best.
They average. Like Brian Allen, David Edwards, Andrew Whitworth, who's still playing. Andrew Whitworth is still playing football, ladies and gentlemen. He was with your Bengals forever, and now he's playing with the LA Rams and trying to compete and get to a Super Bowl. But Austin Corbett, I'm just not impressed with their offensive line, and I think that's the weakness on their team. Now let me get to their receivers, and I'll let you go. They still got Cooper Kupp. They still got Robert Woods. Neither are top 10 receivers, but they're formidable. I think they're a formidable duo with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. But you added an injury-prone Deshaun Jackson, in free agency. Let's see what Deshaun Jackson has left in the tank. They drafted Tutu well in the draft. They compared him to Deshaun Jackson. He has great speed on the outside. So overall, I think this LA Rams team will win the NFC West. I think they are true Super Bowl contenders. And I think they have pushed all their chips to the front of the table, and it's Super Bowl or bust for the LA Rams and Sean McVay this season. So I think they will win the NFC West overall.
When I look at this LA Rams saying, you know, when you traded for Matthew Stafford, you was basically telling him, hey, we can win. You're a quarterback that we can win a Super Bowl with. This is our window right now to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, man, you about to make a deal. We trade for you, and you come over here and you work hard and lead us to a Super Bowl. That's what he basically told Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford basically is betting on himself and saying, yes, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life, and I'm ready to deliver.
Yeah.
Which is not a problem. But the thing is, you're in LA. You're in the toughest division in the NFL. You're playing against the San Francisco 49ers, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Seattle Seahawks. Let me bring up those three teams back up for you, Trey.
Yeah.
The Seahawks, they got a great quarterback in Russell Wilson, a top 5 quarterback in the league that you know that can heat up a game, but they came short in the playoffs. The Cardinals, they're coming up.
Came up short against the Rams.
Yeah, came up short. Yeah, against the Rams.
Yeah.
Now the Cardinals, they're a team that was supposed to be in the playoffs, but Chicago Bears all of a sudden won the game, and they lost 2 straight games. They're a team that's upcoming too, a team that you should be looking out for. With Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, even my favorite AJ Green, even Larry Fitzgerald, if he decided to come, and their defense is still young and development.
Yeah.
Now the
Teams in NFC West that the Rams are competing against. You talked about it. You talked about the Seattle Seahawks. They have a great quarterback in Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the division. But after Russell Wilson, to me, when you look at the rest of the Seahawks team, defensively, they're not as good as the Rams. They're not as good as the Rams defensively. Seahawks. Yeah, they're not. And then when you look at the rest of the other teams, you look at the Arizona Cardinals. I like the Arizona Cardinals because I like their roster, especially offensively. I like Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is going to come up. I think he's one of those quarterbacks that deserves to be in the conversation with the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. When you talk about Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, like Josh Allen. Kyler Murray deserves to be in that conversation. Make no mistake about it. Like, I was impressed with Kyler Murray last year. The play of the year last year when Kyler Murray rolled out to his left, threw that Hail Mary pass to DeAndre Hopkins. Like, it was the play of the season last year. I'm very impressed with Kyler Murray. I think the Arizona Cardinals, they have an overall solid roster. And I think their roster is probably the second or third best roster in the division. Seattle at 4. But I think when you look at the San Francisco 49ers, I said this a couple weeks ago on the show, I do think the 49ers will be much better this year because they were injury riddled last year. Like, they had a lot of injuries. Like, George Kittle was injured. Obviously Jimmy Garoppolo was injured last year. Solomon Thomas was injured. Joey Bosa was injured. They had a ton of injuries. They will be a better team this upcoming season. They're only 1 year removed from being in the Super Bowl, Clarence. Yeah. They went into the 4th quarter of the Super Bowl a few years ago with a lead. They had a chance to win a Super Bowl over Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So I still believe the 49ers are an elite team. So I agree with you. They have some stiff competition. I believe the NFC West is the best division in the NFL. Top to bottom. Would you agree with that?
I agree with you because when you look at this Rams schedule, their first 5 games, at home against Chicago Bears, which is going to be...
That's a win.
Okay, we can play that game since you want to say that.
Yeah.
So, their first game against the Chicago Bears at home against Andy Dalton and a good Chicago team.
1-0.
1-0. Okay, it's a Sunday night. On the road to Indianapolis, the way Carson Wentz, a good defense with a stiff offensive line. Right. So that right there, we're going to throw that in the air. Toss up. Now you come back home and play the reigning champ Tampa Bay Buccaneers team.
Ooh,
that's a toss-up right there.
That's a great game.
That's a great game. Like, a game that you don't want to miss. Like, because the Rams defense and the Bucs defense, they're both one of the top.
Yeah.
And the next game after that, you got the next 2 games or division. Your first game at home against the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
So what's that? Easy win?
Easy win. Nah, it ain't easy. Ain't nothing easy. Who had the next game against their 5th game?
Oh, after that game, then you on the road Thursday night against Seattle.
Ooh, that's gonna be tough. They can start the season off 2-3, 3-2, 3-2 maybe. I'm not sure. Like, I would give our predictions when the season starts. But I just think we look at teams in the NFC, right?
Yeah.
Like, I believe they are a top 3 Super Bowl contender in the NFC. Like, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, obviously, with the team they have, bringing back Tom Brady,
everybody,
bringing back Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, pretty much everybody returned to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have to be the favorites in the NFC. To be the best, you got to beat the best. So until further notice, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the team to beat in the NFC. But after that, I think the Rams deserve to be in that conversation for top teams in the NFC. I believe Aaron Rodgers is coming back, so you got to throw my Packers in the mix. I think the Saints are going to take a step back this year.
Okay, I agree with that.
Because Drew Brees retiring, I don't trust Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, for the Saints at the quarterback position. So I think the Saints are going to take a step back in the NFC South. I'm just not sure about the other teams in the NFC, so you have to say the Rams are a legitimate top 3 team in the NFC that could win a Super Bowl. I'm talking about they can get to the Super Bowl. The Rams are a top 3 team that can get to a Super Bowl.
Anybody can get to a Super Bowl at this point.
Anybody can do it. If we're talking about the top 3 teams, who do you believe they are? I believe it's the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. Rams, Bucks. Those are the top 3 teams right now in the NFC to me.
Even over the Seahawks, even over the great Russell Wilson, you got them.
I don't trust the Seahawks defense.
Okay.
I just don't.
He don't trust the Seahawks.
I don't trust the Seahawks defense.
So, man.
And I still think, where there's smoke, there's fire. I think the Seahawks, they have a relationship with Russell Wilson that I don't believe has necessarily been fixed. I still think they got issues from like Russell Wilson listed 4 teams that he didn't mind getting traded to. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't trust Seattle this year.
You just basically said the Los Angeles Rams are the 3rd best team in the NFC.
Yeah, I think they're a top 3 team in the NFC as far as being true Super Bowl contenders.
So is they the 3rd best team in the NFC?
I think right now the Rams are better than the Packers. Even with Aaron Rodgers.
With Aaron Rodgers?
Yes. With Aaron Rodgers, the Rams are better. I'm being honest.
So Matthew Stafford always been better than Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, hell no. Okay. I just said, you need to stop talking football and even say something.
I'm just saying though, because you think with Aaron Rodgers, the LA Rams are better.
I think the LA Rams have a better roster than the Packers top to bottom. But Aaron Rodgers is obviously better than Matthew Stafford.
The Packers secondary is better than the Rams secondary. Let's clear that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and the Rams obviously front 7 is better than the Packers front 7. But I won't sleep on the Packers front 7 with the Smith brothers,
right? Smith
and
brothers.
Kevin Clark, Kenny Clark. So I want to pass on them. Quarterback. It's Aaron Rodgers.
By far.
Yeah, I'll take him. And then the running back situation, Aaron Jones over Cam Akers. Come on, man.
I think top to bottom, the Rams have a better team than the Packers. But I do think there are some positions that you can point out and say the Packers have the advantage. I agree with you. I think Aaron Jones is better than Cam Akers. Obviously, Devontae Adams is better than any of the receivers that the Rams have.
Robert Woods.
Like Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, those guys are serviceable. But
Cooper Kupp is a superstar, man.
No, stop.
He's a superstar.
You just said Cooper Kupp is a superstar?
Yes. What? He's not?
Cooper Kupp is. Are y'all listening to this?
Are you listening to yourself? He's a top slot receiver.
When I hear superstar, I think about Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, a healthy Odell Beckham, Julio Jones.
I think Cooper Kupp actually fits that bill.
What?
I think he actually
He deserves to be in that conversation.
Not top 10, but at least top 15. Top 15. I think Cooper Kupp is one of the best he's one of the best slot receivers in the NFL.
You said he's a superstar. If I hear superstar, I hear you're a true number 1 receiver.
I think
Cooper Kupp is not number 1 receiver.
Believe it or not, you remember you saying the Rams is the 3rd best team in the NFL.
NFC.
If Matthew Stafford can get Cooper Kupp in better position and winning, I think he gonna break out. He's gonna crack the top 10. I think he's a top 15 receiver in the league, man.
Cooper Kupp is a poor man's Julian Edelman.
What?
Yes, he's a poor man's Julian Edelman. And I've never been one of those people that believe Julian Edelman should be.
He's better than Julian.
I don't think he's better than Julian.
He's better.
I think Julian Edelman is better, but I also don't believe Julian Edelman deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Cooper Kupp is a solid slot receiver, man. Great route running ability. Are you crazy?
Like, come on. You said superstar.
Yeah, he's a superstar.
He's not a superstar.
He's one of the best. He's one of the best slot receivers.
I'm gonna tell Raquel to ban you from talking to
I'm gonna tell Raquel,
like,
don't, man. Hey, he should not be talking football. Raquel, I hope you're hearing this right now.